Lay, Garchomp, Kartana, Metagross, and Arcanine for Aaron on the bottom of the screen. Conan's team, of course, taking a lot of influence from the Japanese metagame, I believe,
Yes.
with the Celesteela, Garchomp, Gyarados, Mimikyu, Tapu Koko, and Gigalith.
It's an interesting matchup, really. Mimikyu functions very well as a Trick Room a Mon that really puts the pressure on the typical Drifloon Lele squad. It takes the Shadow Ball through the skies, and most of them can take a powered-up Psychic. The problem is Aaron's got double steal, and that's very restrictive to Conan's overall team or strategy. He doesn't like double steal when he has Mimikyu, Gigalith, but that's the mode most effective against general Drifloon Lele squads. So we might see Conan opt for a more offensive kind of Gyarados Garchomp mode with a Celesteela like backup, so that you clear the kind of path for Celesteela to sit there and be comfortable sucking up all that HP with Leech Seed, if he has it.
All right, we're ready to get underway here. Go ahead, show your support for either Aaron Zheng or Conan Thompson. Drifloon and Tapu Lele leads out for Aaron, as we see Mimikyu and Tapu Koko leads out for Conan. Gonna go ahead and bring out the Electric Surge, but of course Tapu Lele says, hey, let's get weird. Tapu Lele Psychic Surge gonna activate the Psychic Seed as well as the Unburden Boost. That's what pretty much makes this course so great.
Pretty typical lead from Aaron, and there's no problem with that, especially considering that if Conan does not have Mental Herb Mimikyu, it cannot set up Trick Room, because we've seen taunt so many times from Aaron. That said, I really like this lead from Conan. I let it a lot myself this weekend. Mimikyu, Koko. The taunt doesn't even matter if he doesn't have Mental Herb, because you can Sky Drop that Lele, and then when you Trick Room, it's 2 turns where Lele is gone because so many people tend to set up the Tailwind. Now, Aaron, no fool, going for the Shadow Ball.
Yep, Aaron breaking that disguise, busted. Tapu Koko now goes for a Sky Drop here, going to pick up that Tapu Lele and not allow it to be able to move. As Mimikyu is able to set up the Trick Room, so now Lele is going to get to come down and go for an attack on that Tapu Koko.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't. That's
because
right.
Koko
That's right. Koko's so fast. That's right.
So Trick Room makes it the slow, so Lele's effectively out of the picture for 2 turns.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool. Like, the Mimikyu Koko is sort of an odd lead. I think caught a lot of people off guard this weekend. Conan could probably attest to that. That said, the Shadow Ball, Aaron's Drifloon is a lot more offensive than the typical Drifloon tend to be. Mimikyu could probably take a decent amount of damage from that Shadow Ball.
So now we have it. I mean, you saw that Sky Drop, such a great utility move. It actually kind of changes the way you play doubles, in my opinion.
It really does.
Because especially coming from a fast Pokemon like that, that's why Aerodactyl had a lot of usage when Sky Drop was finally legal. Mimikyu now switching out, going to go into Gigalith, going to bring the Sandstream with it, going to slowly chip away at everything on the field that is not steel, ground, or rock. And also give it a nice special defense boost and take that Shadow Ball a little bit better than that Mimikyu would, as the Tapu Koko now lets that Tapu Lele free, and Drifloon goes for a Destiny Bond.
I mean, that was probably the best option that he had at the time. Maybe Will-O-Wisp, but you don't need to burn a Mimikyu, really. Gigalith, very scary. The Destiny Bond has saved him a turn, but we've seen in the past that Aaron is a big fan of Rocky MC Gigalith. He might have that here.
You mean Conan?
Oh, Conan, I'm sorry. We've seen that Rocky Gigalith is very popular. Curse Gigalith, right behind it in terms of popularity. He has a lot of possible pressure here, and the sand makes it so that Lele's attacks do less damage.
Towards that Gigalith.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Rock types getting the special defense increase in the sand.
I really like that Destiny Bond from Aaron, too, because it kind of makes you think twice about hitting that slot.
Yeah.
And it's so slow right now that everything it's so fast that everything on the field is going to be moving way before it.
Yeah. It's like an extra turn of Trick Room burn.
Yeah. It's pretty much its way of protecting.
Sick rhymes.
Gigalith now goes for a Rock Slide, going to hit both Tapu Lele and Drifloon. No dodges here as Drifloon.
Oh!
Drifloon hangs on, unfortunately, for Aaron, as Tapu Lele gets to go for a Psychic here, hitting that Tapu Koko in that terrain. Not enough to pick up the KO, but it looks like Tapu Koko goes for a Volt Switch into that Tapu. Oh! Goes for the hit into the Drifloon, so it's going to knock itself out.
I mean, that's just a declaration
That's
that Conan does not care.
That's fair.
Trick
Trick Room's up. Tapu Koko's way too fast for it anyways.
The Rock Slide not KOing was the real clutch situation there.
Super clutch.
Trick Room still got a few turns left, so this is pretty annoying. Metagross is a solid answer to Gigalith, one of the best, and Aaron does have it on his team. The problem with that is that going offensive with Celesteela in the back, as we see right there, is one of Conan's best approaches to the matchup. So I'm very curious to see what Aaron's fourth Pokemon is.
His fourth what? Oh,
His
Aaron's last Pokemon.
Yeah.
That's right. I thought you were talking about Conan for some
No.
reason. Arcanine comes in, gonna go ahead and drop an Intimidate on a Gigalith and Celesteela. If you watched the stream yesterday, you know that this is actually a special attacking Celesteela
Yeah, I
with
forgot
some
about that.
very, very cool tricks up its sleeve. If you're just tuning in for the first time, I'll let you figure that out for yourself.
It's a fun little moment, and it's a very rare Celesteela set. I had actually encountered it on Showdown Ladder, and in a fairly typical moment where I'm annoyed with Ladder, I went, well, that's a stupid set. I'm never going to play that at tournament. Go away.
All right.
But here it is.
Celesteela switches out. Mimikyu now comes in. The disguise already been busted, so it could possibly get KO'd here. Well, it's just a revolving door of Pokemon. Aaron's last Pokemon is going to be that Garchomp. Good thing to note. As Tapu Lele protects itself, not going to want to get KO'd just yet. Maybe hang on. Maybe try to wait this Trick Room out. As Gigalith goes for a Rock Slide. Not very effective on that Garchomp. Does connect, but, you know, Garchomp is a great Pokemon to have.
Garchomp very good in this metagame.
Very good in this metagame, actually. As we see the Sandstorm go ahead and do chip damage to every single Pokemon. Tapu Lele now will probably get one more attack, if even, before the Sandstorm and Life Orb Recoil will knock it out.
Garchomp a pretty good answer as well to Gigalith, foregoing that Metagross slot. And honestly, probably for the best. Sword Stance Fire Fang applies pressure to Celesteela. Garchomp on Aaron's team is actually incredibly important because it's this Pokemon that really harms multiple modes on Conan's team. The only one really being ignored is Gyarados.
And Garchomp protecting itself, not going to want to take any damage, and possible play rough from that Mimikyu. Fair play, going to stall the Trick Room here, as now Gigalith goes for a Rock Slide, going to connect onto that Tapu Lele. And now Aaron's down to his last two Pokemon, but of course, Mimikyu can just set up Trick Room next turn, as well as Mimikyu now goes for a Will-O-Wisp into that Protect. Fair. That's fair.
Yeah, it's not over for either player.
No.
Conan does have the number advantage, but Aaron has good positioning.
And he's going to drop another Intimidate.
Yeah, 2 Intimidates on the Gigalith.
One on this Mimikyu.
You get one on the Mimikyu. It's really the bulk on the Mimikyu is very important. A lot of them tend to go bulkier on this sort of team composition. If Arcanine is not capable of removing Mimikyu itself, because he almost has to dedicate a double attack situation to Mimikyu. Because otherwise, Swords Dance would pretty much end this game if he was able to remove Mimikyu with just the Arcanine itself.
Yeah, it's going to come down to what this Mimikyu can do in terms of its defenses. Yeah. So this is a pivotal turn in this game. Only one more turn of Sandstorm left. Not going to matter too much. Chip damage is always nice on that Arcanine, but at the same time, there are 2 physical attackers on Garchomp and Arcanine. Gigalith now switching out, going to go in as Celesteela, probably going to try to take a possible Tectonic Rage in that slot, as we do see the Tectonic Rage come out.
That better be on the Mimikyu.
Well, it depends on who you're rooting for, Chemo.
I'm rooting for good plays.
Well, we'll have to see, because this Garchomp now could possibly burn its Z-move into the Celesteela. Going to go ahead. Yeah, boy. Okay, all right, into the Mimikyu.
Okay.
All right.
So that's actually huge.
Does that open up a Flare Blitz onto the Flare? Oh, okay. All right. Picks up the KO on the Mimikyu. Now is the Arcanine going to go for Flare Blitz? Yes, it does into the Celesteela. Good call right there from Aaron.
Excellent call. That switch away.
And picks up KO on Celesteela. All right. All right.
Excellent play by Aaron, really. The switch from Gigalith to Celesteela was more one of necessity rather than positioning. The double Intimidate on Gigalith basically, in this situation, made it a null slot. He would need a critical hit on Arcanine to achieve anything, and that didn't prevent the double tap on the Mimikyu slot. The Flare Blitz was really just the way I'm sure it was aimed at the Mimikyu and just redirected. I'm sure you agree.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, that very well played from Aaron. I believe this is over.
Yep. Arcanine now protecting itself. Going to set up an opportunity for Garchomp to just go for Earthquakes right here, as Gigalith going to protect and see what's going to happen. Trying to get some more information probably. As Garchomp goes for an Earthquake here, going to hit the nothing because of the Protect, so yeah.
Adaptions. things they can do. It's hard for Conan, just at the team preview. And when I saw what Aaron was running at this regional, I didn't want to play him at all because I was using a similar Mimikyu setup. Double steal with Drift Lele is incredibly annoying.
Yeah.
So, like, just that pressure, because he didn't really use any of the seal types in this matchup.
No, he
but
didn't.
The pressure from them is what is really annoying.
Right, and Conan's going to have to make some pretty big adjustments here. The Rock Slide connects onto the Arcanine, picks up the KO, and Guard Chomp now can easily just go for a Earthquake to pick up the KO on this Gigalith here. Oh, boy.
It's a little rough for Conan. Part of me feels like he should stick to his guns and try reworking Mimikyu Gigalith because I think it has a general better matchup against Drift Lele. But
it did. I mean,
yeah.
From the first couple turns, Conan was in the driver's seat, but it was just that one turn where Aaron decided to target down that Mimikyu. That was just clutch.
the Z move turn was what really sealed the deal. And I would like Conan to try that again, but what a lot of players do when that happens is they kind of switch modes and think, well, that didn't work, I might as well try the other mode. But I think his other mode is a lot weaker against the Driftbloom Lele archetype.
Yeah, I mean, if Conan actually switched in that Celestial in that Mimikyu slot, that match would have turned out completely differently.
Yeah. Well, the Flare Blitz would still.
The Flare Blitz would have targeted down. Well, unless it was a target into the Mimikyu slot, it could have just been. Yeah, you're right. Not sure.
It could have gone either way, but like an interesting alternative nonetheless. It's a little rough for Conan, definitely.
Aaron's playing exceptionally well.
Aaron's playing very well. The double steal in the Drifloom Lele is very annoying for recent really answers to the archetype. And if Driftbloom Lele wins this tournament, that's like 3 big tournaments in the past 2 months now. You had the Onog Tour, the One Nation of Gamers tournament.
The Australian International Championships.
And then the Portland Regionals. If he wins, that is.
We'll have to see. Aaron now with the 1-0 lead over Conan Thompson here at the finals of the Portland, Oregon Regional Championships. Tapu Koko and Mimikyu, the exact same leads for Conan. He thinks he has the right pieces. And Driflim and Tapu Lele leads for Aaron. Of course, Psychic Terrain is going to come up. Psychic Seed, Unburden, all that good stuff happens for that Driflim. But, of course, there's just Trick Room's probably going to come up.
It looks like Conan is confident in his ability to rework the last match.
Well, there's also stuff in the back that could have possibly changed.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see if they made adjustments in the back. They're just waiting to see if that's going to come in handy later.
I mean, again, Koko Mimikyu, very good lead. We know that it's a soft Koko, so Lele couldn't even one-hit KO it if he decided to go for it. Lele tend to be fairly bulky.
Yeah, and Tapu Lele protects itself, not going to want to get picked up again. Drifblim goes for the Will-O-Wisp here, going to connect onto the Mimikyu now, going to reduce the damage output from Mimikyu's physical attacks as Tapu Koko goes for a Volt Switch instead. Conan changing it up here, no Sky Drop that Aaron expected as it goes back into Conan's Pokeball, and now I think it's full-on Trick Room mode.
I mean, good on him to stick to his guns that way. Gigalith applying even more pressure, arguably, than last game, because it didn't have to wait longer for itself to get in.
Yep.
And there's no Destiny Bond sort of turn burn.
And Mimikyu's disguise is still full-on intact, too. So Conan in a lot better field position just going into game 2. And, Aaron kind of thought that Sky Drop was coming, but Conan was just like, nah, not this time.
But I don't blame Aaron for making that play because it was pretty annoying to deal with in the last game. And there's other techs that he could do. He could Nature's Madness it, take it down to 50, and then go down another 10 from Life Orb Recoil if he went for the attack, which would, even from Burnt Mimikyu might be enough to remove it. But he wanted Lele to be safe, and it ended up biting him.
And it looks like a Rock Slide here will definitely be able to pick up the KO on Drifblim. Gigalith has such a strong attack stat. Drifblim is not the best in terms of physical defense. And
Gigalith being a rock type, the same type as Rock Slide, increases the power of the attack.
Same type attack bonus.
All you have to do is hope for no miss.
Rock Slide can miss. That's right.
Rock Slide is a fun move.
Drift Limb switches out. Arcanine going to come in, going to intimidate that Gigalith and also intimidate that Mimikyu. That Mimikyu is not quite as threatening depending on the rest of its move pool. We've seen Trick Room. We've seen Play Rough, I believe. Rock Slide now comes out, going to hit Arcanine and Tapu Lele. Arcanine hanging on with over 50% of its health. Oh, critical hit on Tapu Lele, unfortunately for Aaron. As Mimikyu now goes for the Will-O-Wisp here onto Tapu Lele, going to slowly chip away at it. Maybe expecting that one to switch into a possible Garchomp. Tapu Lele gets to go for a Psychic here, and it's going to go ahead and bust the disguise on that Mimikyu.
You really see the... Oh, I'm sorry. The power of the disguise. Because basically, if you just compare the situation from last turn to this turn, all that Conan really lost was his disguise. He just got a bunch of free damage on 2 Pokemon for the price of what is basically a substitute.
Yeah. Well, it's tough for Aaron. I mean, even though it's still 4-4, like, Conan just has all the momentum.
Conan really fixed up his situation from last game. He made Gigalith more efficient. I'd be curious to see if he still had Celesteela, but I believe he does just because, again, the double steal possibility is very threatening.
Yeah, and, well, if this Mimikyu is a Trick Room Mimikyu, I feel like a play... Well, I don't know how much damage Mimikyu is going to do at all. As Gigalith taking this turn to set up a curse, going to boost its defense and its attack by 1 stage and drop its speed by 1 stage, which is beneficial in Trick Room. So using this turn to just, all right, expecting a Garchomp to probably switch into that slot. As Tapu Lele continues to go for Psychics on that Mimikyu and picks up the KO, but Gigalith is pretty well set up, and of course Tapu Lele just going to knock itself out from Sandstorm and Burn and Life Orb, so it's going to get KO'd despite hanging on. As the... Oh, that's a crit.
Yeah,
that's
a
crit.
Be. Okay.
All right.
Burning rocks all the time. I mean, the Will-O-Wisp read made a lot of sense.
Just it's safe. It's
safe.
Safe.
It was super safe because if Garchomp comes in, that ruins your Gigalith's day. And at the same time, if Lele stays in, it's going to KO'd by residual damage at the end of the turn. But Aaron willing to sacrifice that Lele, really paying off for him there. Gigalith's still pretty scary, but... Oh, I thought that was...
Nope. Conan has his own Garchomp. As Garchomp on Aaron's side decides to come in as well. Trick Room is still up. Can't remember how many turns are left. I think
it should be two
turns, yeah. So, going to be tough to stall it out.
You have a little odd situation just because the speed order is reversed, with both Garchomps being last as opposed to first. I would kind of like to see Tectonic Rage from Conan onto Aaron's Garchomp just to remove the threat of the opposing Garchomp. That said, I would sort of like Protect on Gigalith just to prepare for that. Arcanine not doing too much here. And many Cursed Gigalith are more than happy to run that Pinch Berry. Possible that in Protecting, you could get to the range where it procced.
Yeah, and Aaron almost running out of time there. Arcanine protecting itself. Gigalith is going to move before. Going to go for Rock Slide. Going to hit this Garchomp here. Arcanine not want to get knocked out just yet. Maybe keep it around just in case Celesteela is in the back. With a critical hit on that Garchomp. And now we have Aaron. Aaron's Garchomp goes first. Going to go for a Tectonic Rage here. It's going to do damage to something. It should be able to pick up the KO on Gigalith. Going to be close on that Garchomp on the other side.
Yeah. But... he does go for the Garchomp.
Is it going to be enough to KO? That's a good question.
Maybe.
Depending on how they're trained. Garchomp on Conan's side does not hang on.
Wow.
Gets KO'd. So one more turn of Trick Room here. One more turn of Trick Room. So Gigalith is set up with
Celesteela
the
or
curse.
Gyarados really are helpful mons. I think Conan's still in a fine position.
Top of Coco.
Oh, I forgot that was still around. I thought it was last game where it got knocked out.
No, it Volt switched out first turn.
Very good play. What am I forgetting? Garchomp. Oh, Mimikyu. Okay.
Yep. And the Drifloon was in the back. Drifloon was heavily damaged in the back.
That's actually a lot more annoying for Conan than I thought. I thought Coco was already gone, and there was like an unseen Pokemon in the back. This is completely different. Garchomp is not scared of Gigalith and underspeeds Coco, which in Trick Room is muy bueno. We also know that Tapu Koko does not have Protect. Now, it is a little annoying because Aaron protected Arcanine last turn, so he isn't super free to Earthquake, and he would probably lose Drift Blim in the process of switching, but that might be a worthy switch considering he doesn't have any of the buffs.
Oh, Arcanine goes for another Protect. Garchomp going to try to stall out this Trick Room here, protecting itself as well. And Gigalith going for a Rock Slide here, going to connect on to Arcanine, going to be able to pick up the KO. And now Tapu Koko, well, what's it going to decide to do? It's not going to do much.
It's going to pose for us, I think.
Just going to flex. Tapu Koko going for the Nature's Madness in that Garchomp slot. Not going to do anything as Trick Room ends and the Sandstorm ends. So, yeah. Here we go.
Now, we've seen Nature's Madness, we've seen Skydrop, and we've seen Volt Switch. Now, at least today, I don't remember having seen Thunderbolt on Koko. So, it is possible that Koko either does not. Well, oh no, it's absolutely guaranteed.
Gigalith does have Wide Guard. It does have access to Wide Guard. Going to block the Earthquake right here as Tapu Koko goes for a Thunderbolt. That's going to connect on a Drifloon and pick up the KO. So there's just no way for. There might be no chance for Garchomp to be able to do anything. Garchomp goes for an Earthquake. That's protected by the Wide Guard. So, wow. Conan saving that for the last second.
That turn not only was very clutch for Conan, but it revealed a ton of information for both players. We can absolutely confirm that Conan's Koko does not have Dazzling Gleam or Hidden Power Ice, two moves fairly common on Koko to deal with Garchomp. But at the same time, Gigalith, the Curse set, has simultaneous access to Wide Guard, so that even if it's scared of Garchomp, as long as Tectonic Rage has been burnt, it has no problem.
Yep, and we see Tapu Koko now go for Nature's Madness now. You just want to whittle down Garchomp to just a point where you're comfortable just going for a Rock Slide, but Garchomp uses the turn to set up a Sword Stance instead. Nature's Madness will not be able to pick up a KO unless you get all the way down to one hit point, which is going to take a while.
That could be a little awkward.
But, of course, you can also just Skydrop it to possibly pick up a KO at some point as well.
Yes. I think Conan still wins, but like you do run into this odd little position where Fire Fang just happened to pick it up on Koko, then you have Gigalith and Chomp staring each other down till the end of time.
Yeah, so now just going to try to, well, I'm trying to think of the outs right here. Garchomp has Fire Fang, could get burns.
I think the out is you have to Fire Fang Koko, hope it KOs, and then Conan, scared of Earthquake, you Fire Fang him. Burn would be nice. But, like, that point would be a little 50-50 because if he reads that, you can Earthquake.
Yeah, Gigalith goes for a Wide Guard here as the Tapu Koko goes for another Nature's Madness. Going to bring Garchomp down to, what, 38 hit points, I believe, if I remember the number correctly. Sorry, 31. Oh, I can't even do math. Garchomp goes for a Fire Fang here. Going to connect on that Tapu Koko. No burn. And the electricity is going to go ahead and disappear. Not going to matter anyways. Now, well, it's in range for a Skydrop. Oh, I don't even know how much damage a Skydrop would do. I'd say just
not enough.
Well, yeah.
Unless he's like naive Koko instead of timid Koko. No, Aaron can still totally win.
Yeah, he still can.
Because he can take another Nature's Madness and hit with Fire Fang. Conan could go with the risky play of getting that Rock Slide in, which might end it. But if he pressed Earthquake, that is absolutely over. This game, even if Aaron is one mon down in the red, he still has the potential to win.
Oh boy, let's see what happens. I think there's got to be some way for Conan to have a for sure win condition. As we see Koko go for a Nature's Madness, that was the turn to go for.
He went for the Rock Slide. How risky!
That was the turn to go for the what's called. That was the turn to go for an Earthquake for Aaron.
But that was also the turn to go for a Curse for Conan.
The mind games, man, the mind games.
It's rough. It's a rough situation. To me, as a player personally, that indicates to me that he's absolutely going to press Wide Guard on the next turn because he already just risked it, and now that I protected it, he won't do it again. There's no way. Fire Fang that Koko.
For those of you tuning in at home, this is like I don't know what's going to happen right now. Because both players can do it depending on what the other player does. Is Aaron going to go for a Fire Fang? Is he going to go for an Earthquake? Is Conan going to go for a Wide Guard? Or is he going to go for the Rock Slide? So it all comes down to what happens here. Tapu Koko goes for the Sky Drop, picks up Garchomp into the sky right here. And this is a chance for Gigalith to go for a curse. Yeah, it is. And this turn, just drop the Garchomp and go for a wide guard. Actually, I don't even know, man.
No, it's still a mind game turn because he
can go for a Fire Fang on that Tapu Koko.
But then you can Rock Slide. See, like,
yeah,
it's a tricky 50-50 kind of situation. I wonder how much the curse matters because maybe is it +2 or 3 now?
It's 2.
Okay, maybe through the...
If Aaron calls this right, he's the Portland, Oregon Regional Champion. If Conan calls this right...
We're going into game 3.
Then we're going into game 3 of this mind game right now. Like, oh...
If Aaron pulls this out, I'm super impressed. That is a crazy way to win a tournament.
Well, it also depends on how much damage a Skydrop does, right?
Yeah, it does.
Yep, Tapu Koko now goes for a Skydrop here.
He didn't wide guard.
Did not wide guard. Did Garchomp go for an Earthquake? The rough skin coming out.
Oh, man, I'm ready.
And is Gigalith going to be able to hang on? Garchomp free from the Skydrop. Goes for the
Earthquake!
Isn't enough to pick up the KO on that Gigalith. It does have 2 stages of increased defense. And Gigalith...
Oh, my God!
Tapu Koko faints, but Gigalith can dodge a rock slide.
KO.
Oh, Figgy Berry. What? What?
Conan Thompson.
Gigalith goes for a rock slide, connects, picks up the KO on that Garchomp.
Oh, man. That's a game, baby.
That curse from earlier paying off so much for Conan and
Nippon Banzai.
Conan Thompson.
Woo! Rip headphone users.
Game 3.
That was intense. That was insanity.
Game 3 coming up.
Yeah, I was wondering if the spread damage would make it so it no longer picked it up, and he very closely hung on, revealed the Figgy Berry, rock slide KO.
But now Aaron has so much information in his arsenal to be able to come back.
Yeah, the information honestly does favor Aaron in this because Conan has more tricks.
On that Gigalith, like we've seen everything that Gigalith can do.
Yeah.
Protect, wide guard, Figgy Berry.
Well, the Drifblim Lele setups are fairly straightforward, so like you're not expecting a lot of tricks from them. Like we know about Destiny Bond now and things like that. Like that's a cool trick. But Conan's team is just less arguably standard. And it has some fairly odd stuff going on, you know, like Vest Drop Coco, Wide Guard Curse, Gigalith, the weirdo Celesteela that we've only hinted at. No, I really respect Conan for winning that. Super tense. He stuck to his guns like he should have. It's on Aaron to kind of adapt now. I think Conan will do it again. But how do you address it? I think now is the time to whoop out one of those steel types. But in doing that, you again make yourself more weak to the Celesteela, which Conan has shown not to be afraid to bring.
Does Aaron bring Drifblim Tapu Lele? I mean, we've seen Conan successfully be able to set up Trick Room 2 times now.
I don't think he will. Steel type
change
Lele.
it up?
Metagross Lele.
That's fair. We'll see.
That's some
Can you pick up Metagross with a Skydrop?
No.
Well, regardless, you're probably just smack it with a Thunderbolt or a Volt Switch. Or even a Nature's Madness. So Mimikyu and Tapu Koko, the same leads for Conan here. He thinks he has the pieces. Does Aaron change up? Nope. Goes straight for the Drifblim and Tapu Lele.
Okay. I mean, this is a situation we're familiar with now. One of the things to really note is that Conan was able to have such a huge momentum lead earlier on in game 2 because Aaron protected Lele instead of just going on the offensive. I'm very skeptical you would see that again. I think he's going to go for an attack and risk the Skydrop. But I think Aaron...
Mind games.
I think Conan's going to do
Mind games. Drifblim now goes for a Shadow Ball into Mimikyu. Going to bust that disguise, and now is Tapu Lele going to get picked up, or is Tapu Lele going to be free to attack as Tapu Koko goes for a Volt Switch right here? Conan not changing up what he did, but Aaron does in terms of game 2 as Tapu Koko now gets to switch out, and we'll see how much damage this Tapu Lele is able to do to the Mimikyu, depending on how both of them are trained. As Gigalith gets sent in, if Trick Room goes up, that's good. If Trick Room can't go up, then that's bad.
Yeah.
Gigalith Sandstream activates, going to boost its special defense by 1.5 as Tapu Lele now goes for a Psychic, boosted by the Psychic Train in this Mimikyu at full health. Is it enough to KO? It is enough to KO. Unlike what you said earlier, Chemo, that is just enough to pick up the KO.
Dude, okay, the one I'm using does not get KO'd by that. So Conan is either on the more physical defensive side or
Aaron just has a very strong Tapu Lele.
No, you can make it guaranteed to survive.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So but that's really rough because the Trick Room mode was Conan's whole key to victory in the last game. It cleared up so much space, and now he has to do so much more work to get there.
And now Conan actually has his Garchomp and Gigalith possibly burned.
Yeah, the Drifblim becomes a lot stronger because the Trick Room mode is gone.
Yep. So, great adjustments right here from Aaron. Not really. Would you consider it an adjustment? I'd say it's an adjustment.
From Aaron?
Yeah. He changed up what he did.
In
He
the
changed up what he did.
decisions, yes. In the Pokemon, no.
Tapu Lele now protecting, not going to want to get KO'd just quite yet. We'll have to see what happens here.
He needs... No, he doesn't even have Celesteela. I keep forgetting that Coco didn't get
Coco's in the back, yep.
That's so difficult. If Conan can bring it back again, that is very impressive. But it's looking strongly in Aaron's favor here.
Yeah, and, Drifblim going down actually means that Aaron gets to use more turns of Tailwind with his offensive heavy hitters. We see Garchomp come in right now, so we know that the Tectonic Rage from Garchomp is enough to pick up the KO on Conan's Garchomp from what we saw earlier. I'm not sure if Moonblast will be able to, depending on how Conan has his Garchomp trained. But, of course, that Tectonic Rage can also just target down that Gigalith.
It would be interesting to see how a potential Sand Veil could come into effect here. On either side, really, but more likely on Conan's. If he could dodge Moonblast and press wide guard, then he can Earthquake freely, KO Lele, damage Garchomp. And I wonder if he's trained to take the Tectonic Rage for Gigalith.
Aaron right now thinking heavily as Garchomp protecting itself.
Okay.
Not going to want to take a Moonblast just yet, or even possibly a Tectonic Rage, as Gigalith also protect right here. Maybe try to burn this Z move if Aaron went for it. As Garchomp,
man.
Going for a Swords Dance. Madness.
Getting all up in that face.
Madness right here as Tapu Lele goes for a Moonblast into that Garchomp protect.
I mean, it was a very safe Swords Dance.
It was pretty safe. I mean, Garchomp... Either Garchomp gets heavily damaged by that Moonblast, or Gigalith...
There's nothing he really
could
have done. He could have risked trying to use Sand Veil to dodge Moonblast and going on an offense on his own. But there's almost no way that Aaron's Garchomp would be KO'd from just an Earthquake. So you either would keep the Lele alive or around for another turn and then, injure the Chomp, who Swords Dances anyway. It's a really rough situation, and it's just made a lot worse by the fact that Mimikyu really was the key to setting up Conan's momentum, and it just vanished.
I think that turn was really Conan expecting a Z-move to come out, but good call on Aaron to just hold off on it, save it for later. As Tapu Lele now protecting itself, you think this is an Earthquake?
This is Z-move.
No. Oh, Gigalith also trying to protect. Failing, unfortunately, as Garchomp goes for an Earthquake right here. Going to hit Garchomp and Gigalith for a good amount of damage thanks to that Swords Dance from earlier. I'm not sure if he'll be able to pick up the KO on Garchomp. It is not. Picks up the KO on Gigalith, but Garchomp now gets to move on Conan's side as Garchomp goes for its own Earthquake. Not quite enough to pick up the KO on the other Garchomp because, well, Aaron's wasn't able to KO Conan's.
I think it was a little interesting he went for the double protect there, and it makes sense because you would normally expect Tectonic Rage. That's a bit of a read from Aaron. Expecting Conan not to go with that wide guard. It still would have been
a reduced wide guard.
Wide guard isn't affected by that.
That's right.
He just couldn't protect
it's
the
reverse.
turn after.
It's reverse.
And this is pretty much game over. We know that Coco doesn't have the means to directly KO the Garchomp. There's nothing Conan can really do to stop Garchomp from just owning the territory.
And there's still one turn of Tailwind left.
Yeah, with no protect on that Tapu Koko.
Right?
If anything,
there's still one turn of Tailwind left. Yep.
Aaron should just Earthquake and say that he KO'd 5 Mons in the last game.
Garchomp protecting itself. Gonna
Interesting.
Stall at the Trick Room right here. The Tailwind. As Tapu Lele goes for Moonblast, gonna hit this Garchomp and pick up the KO. So now that really does it. There's just no way. There's just no way for Tapu Koko to be able to KO all these Pokemon on its own. So there you have it. Aaron Cybertron Zheng.
Your Rose City, Portland, Oregon regional champion, Aaron Cybertron Zheng.
Rose City, Rip City, whatever you want to call it. Aaron Zheng is just one turn away from being able to clinch the title of regional champion. Arcanite comes out, goes for Intimidate. Guys.
KO it with your Earthquake. But yeah, congratulations to Aaron. Very well played. That last game was the heartbreaker for Conan.
Aaron Cybertron Zheng moves on to be the Portland, Oregon Regional Championship. Congratulations to Aaron Zheng.
Congratulations, man.
Well played from both players. That does it for the tournament. I wonder if we can actually get a player interview with Aaron Zheng. He's a very busy man. We understand that. But yeah, dude. Oh my gosh.
Just got a flight to catch.
Well, it's still pretty early. But, game one, Aaron, even though that trick went up, it was still close.
I mean, that turn, we can't forget that turn where he Tectonic Rages the Mimikyu and gets that Flare Blitz on Celesteela, which is a clean KO.
We're making the highlight reel for you guys right
we're
now.
making, if this were the NFL, we'd have, the big yellow circles going on.
Yeah.
And you can look at the next two games as a sort of conditioning because he never brought Celesteela again, even though it had the potential to really help him out. In Game 3, he had Arcanine, which was, a little iffy. But
Game 2, Aaron just kind of overpredicted the Sky Drop.
That was a rough turn.
Set up the Trick Room.
That was a rough turn.
That was a very rough turn because that pretty much set up.
It was kind of coin flip, but Conan played it very well. He deserved that game. Game 3 is the heartbreaker where Mimikyu just goes down to that Psychic immediately. That set the tone for the rest of the game.
And then Game 3, Conan did the exact same thing. Aaron decided to change it up.
Yeah.
Why don't we go ahead and pick his brain a little bit? Aaron, interview? We're going to go to a quick player interview. We'll stay tuned. We'll be right back.
What's up, everyone? I'm joined here by Portland Regional Champion Aaron Cybertron Zheng, right here to do a quick little interview. How you doing, Aaron?
Dude, it feels good. I'm happy. I'm very happy right now.
All right, so how did you go about that matchup? Why don't you give me a quick insight into the mind of Cybertron?
Yeah, I mean, I think so for top 8 and top 4, I was able to prepare a little bit more.
Okay.
So I had kind of set game plans going into it. I want to thank Wolfie Glick actually because he kind of walked me through. I talked some matchups with him beforehand, and it was definitely really helpful. And I had played Hayden yesterday, but game 1 just totally threw me off guard. He made such brilliant adjustments, and even the set against Nikolai, I feel like, I ended up maybe with a decent amount of Pokemon more than him, but it all came down to 1 or 2 big plays, whether he'd stay in on my Tectonic Rage or whether I should Swords Dance on the switch out or predict that. So I got pretty fortunate calling those correctly. And then against Hayden, I was obviously really scared after game 1, but I felt like my matchup was pretty good because I knew everything about his team since we had played so much already. So knowing that Tapu Fini didn't have Protect, for example, was really helpful. And then some big calls in the second or third game. I feel like just the lead matchup itself, I was I'm going to take a risk leading Drifblim Lele, but it worked out. And then against Conan, obviously, I didn't actually know very much about his team at all, so I didn't know what the Mimikyu or the Snorlax did.
He's got some weird stuff on there, man.
Yeah, but the thing is, I knew it wasn't your typical Ghost DMZ Mimikyu because the Gyarados and the Garchomp both had Z moves, and I'd seen that already. So I was there's no way that has the Z move as well. And then game 2, I thought I had lost on the first turn because I was you'll just Skydrop me again, right? And then I can easily capitalize off that by going for the play that I did, but instead he just switched out, and I was wow, I could have just doubled up into Mimikyu, could have predicted Will-O-Wisp, and then obviously it came down to the end there, and then I thought Coco had Dazzling Gleam. I didn't know it didn't have it, so I was oh man, I can still win this. And then there was that one turn where if I Earthquaked instead of protecting, I actually just would have won, but I was oh, I'll protect this turn, and then the next turn he didn't Wide Guard when it was coming down, and I was please, I thought I had the victory at that point, but then Conan was it was 2 HP, and I was oh my god.
Oh wow.
I'm rambling on right now, but yeah, and then game 3, I got really fortunate because I got that knockout on Mimikyu turn 1. I was game 1, he got the Sky Drop off, but it still worked out, right? He wastes the turn of Trick Room effectively, and I can predict the Mimikyu switch out and Will-O-Wisp the switch out. So once I got the Mimikyu knockout, I felt really good about my position. Got that free Swords Dance off as well. I kind of threw it. I almost threw it at the end just because I wasn't counting Tailwind turns. I thought Tailwind ended a turn earlier.
Oh, okay. That didn't make sense to me. I was he's just doing it to do it.
Because I could have Z-moved the Garchomp slot safely, but I had Arcanine in the back, and Extreme Speed would knock out his Garchomp anyway. And my Arcanine, I'm pretty sure, could 2-hit knock out the Coco because I had Bulldoze, so Bulldoze plus Flare Blitz would probably knock it out.
Good tech.
But yeah, man, it was a crazy set of games. I mean, I feel all my opponents today, I respect all of them. They're just such good players.
This is a world-class top cut right
here.
Yeah.
These are all players, I know, Conan's top cut worlds. Actually, all 3 of them have top cut worlds. Yeah, I played 2 world champions and then Conan, who got top 24 last year. So yeah, I mean, I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, dude. So what made you choose your team? I thought that Drifblim Lele with double seals was pretty interesting. Not super typical of the archetype. What made you do that?
Yeah, I mean, for anyone that watched the Onog Invitation, obviously I got my butt kicked by Shoma in the finals there, and I've been using this Porygon 2 Trick Room team for the last 4 tournaments, and the reason why I did, I was I've been doing so well with it. I won the Melbourne Challenge with it. I got second at a midseason, top 16 at Anaheim Regionals, and then second in Onog. It's got to keep up, right? But then I went to Australia, and 1, I just wasn't playing my game at all. But 2, I was running into stuff that I don't know, I had trouble dealing with, and I feel the meta may be slightly adjusted, and I was okay, I didn't have much time to prepare for this, but I felt Drifblim Lele, a lot of people were sleeping on it. I mean, Zoe won in Melbourne with it, and I feel people are still sleeping on it.
Yeah, that's actually crazy to me. It's won 3 big events now.
Exactly.
And it still feels people are just I'll deal with it later.
Right. But the adjustment that I thought was really important was actually having Taunt on Porygon, Taunt on Lele, because I can't stress how important that is against Porygon matchups. Because with Specs Lele, you have to try to out-damage them, and that can be a little bit difficult, pivoting yourself into positions. But with Taunt, you can always pretty much lead Lele Drifblim, and you can go for Taunt and either Drifblim covers so much. Will-O-Wisp is so good. I used Destiny Bond this tournament, which was
really cool.
Yeah, it didn't work out too well, but the idea behind Destiny Bond is even if you don't knock the opponent out, you basically conserve a turn of Drifblim, and that can be really important on the last turn of Tailwind because, I set up so many double Tailwinds throughout the course of this tournament, so that was a really big tech as well. And then, AV Kartana and, all these random Kartanas have been popping up, but Sash was so good on this team as well. And then CB Metagross, it was, probably the least used member. But,
oh, really?
Yeah, but, I loved CB Metagross when I used it it on my San Jose team where I got top 8. And the issue with that was like, oh, all these mucks running around, but now I have better answers to deal with muck, like burning it with Garchomp or intimidating with Arcanine. So it was nice to use one of my favorite Pokemon again.
Yeah, that's cool. That was rough, man. And chat was pretty funny earlier, so I've decided to criticize your in-game fashion decisions.
That's fair. That's fair.
Okay, good. I'm glad we're on the same page here.
I could do a little better job with my in-game choices. I'll be sure to do that for the next tournament.
Oh, please do for me.
You know why though? It's because every time I just get on stream and I lose, I'm like, oh, I'm not even gonna be on stream that much. But I'm really glad I finally broke my stream curse. Like I think I played 5 games on stream this weekend and won all of them. So
yeah, that's a lot.
I'm sure there weren't that many people watching, but it's nice because I feel like
we had like over 1,000 people at one point.
That's pretty hype actually. I don't know, like. I feel like this is literally my 10th season, I think, playing, and I still get, like, I was, like, shaking, like, before top 8, top 4, and finals, and I feel like, I don't know, there's, like, so much added pressure. For this tournament, I just came in, and I was like, if I get top 32, I'll have 50 CP, getting close to my Worlds invite, and then, obviously, like, I played a win, and I don't know, it just, like, when there wasn't as much pressure, I think, like, I put a ton of pressure on myself for Melbourne, and then I didn't really have time to make a good team for that either, and then I just kind of, bombed out pretty early on. So I was looking for at least a kind of redemption tournament. I'm glad I won this tournament.
Awesome. I know that you had a little flight problem.
Did the viewers know that?
No.
Oh, okay.
So Aaron was originally going to leave this morning at 5 a.m.
Yeah, so the story behind that was I booked my tickets to this tournament pretty late, and they were, like, pretty cheap. Alaska Airlines has this deal where you can get, like, a same-day change for $25.
Yeah, which is actually, like, pretty good.
Yeah, so I didn't know about that. I was like, oh, that's so clutch. But apparently you have to request it at most 6 hours before, like, the new flight you want. So I didn't know about that policy. I was like, oh, yeah, 5 a.m. flight. Like, this is significantly cheaper than all the flights on Sunday. You can just change it whenever, right?
Yeah.
And then I called yesterday, and the first 2 people in customer support were like, no, you can't change it. You have to, like, pay for an actual new ticket. And I was like,
yeah.
And it was pretty pricey too. I was like, I don't want to spend more money. I mean, but then I was like, it's the chance of giving up a regional championship, and I lost the last 2 top cuts. Like, really devastating. I was really crushed, especially in Anaheim. Like, when I lost, I just, like, left the venue, went back to school, and, like, moped around.
Oh.
And with my friends cheered me up, but it was tough. Losing every time is difficult.
Yeah.
But fortunately, the flight change actually worked. The third guy was like, oh, yeah, we can change it for $25. And I was like, great, now I get to save money and I get to play. And it worked out.
No, like, it's a pretty amusing story. Like, oh, I was originally not going to be able to make top cut. I leave at 5 a.m. Oh, I won the tournament.
Right. I mean, yeah, like, I when I even booked the ticket, the idea was, okay, if I don't make top cut, I'll just go back early. If I do make top cut, it's only $25,
yeah,
right? And then they hit me with the
plan.
Maybe it's not.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, man, it's a lot of money, but it worked out.
Do you have any opinions on Tortilla Express?
I didn't have any of it this weekend. I actually make a very active attempt to stay away from food throughout, like, the course of the entire
I've always
tournament.
kind of felt the same way. Like, my stomach kind of gets heavy with
Same,
food.
yeah. And then, like for me, food comas are so real. Like, every time I eat
really?
food, like, at school, like, after lunch, I just feel like going to bed or taking a nap. And here, like, I feel like a lot of my losses, it's always after lunch break. And it's not because, like, that's not an excuse or anything. It's just, like, I come back from lunch and I'm like, that was a good meal. Yeah, exactly.
There's no momentum anymore.
Yeah, so I like it when you can just play, like, game after game after game. And this tournament was really well run, so thank you to the organizers of this. It was a smaller regional, but I felt like the talent pool was so really stacked.
When you have, like, you could argue that actually made it more difficult because you had a limited number of people who were, like, new or like, oh, I'm just playing for fun. While you had, like, a high amount of people who were like, I'm playing to win. I want to win this tournament. Like, the entirety of top 8 is world-class potential.
Right,
and you have, like, Rafael Bagara was 9th seed. He was 2nd at Nats in 2015. Like, you have people that were, like, very good players of this tournament with a smaller player pool.
Right. Yeah. And I don't know, it makes it more exciting because I love playing, like, top level high level VGC is honestly, like, really beautiful.
Yeah.
And there's still so much that all of us as players have to learn. I feel like we're still so far away from, like, and there's no peak, I guess.
There's no 20x.
Right.
VGC.
But the idea is that, like, I don't know, I've been playing for, like, 10 years and I'm still constantly improving. I still feel like I'm, like, still have so much to learn. But I guess that's, like, the beauty of a game like this.
All right, Aaron, dude, congratulations.
Thanks, man.
Do you have anything else you want to say to your fans out there?
I mean, shout-outs to Dewey and AJ for streaming this event, like, and you for commentating.
Yeah,
you guys,
dude,
like,
I'm pretty cool.
Like, they deserve so much more props because, it's easy to say, oh, yeah, there's a regional stream. It's easy to criticize streams and, like, do whatever. But, like, they flew here on their own money and, like, on their own time and put it out a stream. And even though, they're not tens and thousands of viewers. There's a dedicated enough fan base to watch. So thank you guys for watching, and also a huge shout out to them because they've been putting a very active effort into streaming as many regionals as possible. And it's so exciting because years ago, like, we'd have regionals, and so many of them wouldn't be streamed. You wouldn't get to watch any high level games. Like, there's so many good level, like, high level games that have been lost in history.
Yeah, dude. Like, think of all the stories that just don't exist.
Exactly, that people don't know about because there were no streams. So even now, I don't know. I'm really glad, and for me, even as a player, I love like watching over games in history and just learning from replays as well. And so, I mean, huge shout outs to them because they put in a lot of effort for this, and hopefully you guys continue to support these streams and continue to watch.
Yeah, dude. Dewey and AJ are like, that's what growing the game looks like. There's been a lot of talk of that lately. These are the guys out there doing it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, well, Aaron, dude, congratulations.
Thank you.
I love you, man. We'll be right back with just a quick wrap-up of the day and everyone we want to say thanks to. See you in a minute.
That was a pretty quick transition, actually, come to think of it. Welcome back, everybody, to the conclusion of the 2017 Portland, Oregon Regional Championships. This is it for us. I mean, we started with 130 players, and we cut it down to just the top 8 after day 1. And now Aaron Cybertron Zheng, of course, is your Portland, Oregon Regional Champion. Hype matches all around.
Very exciting.
I'm glad that we were able to broadcast pretty much most of the matches today. There was one match.
7 out of 8 top cut.
Yeah, that's still pretty good, and we're done here. It was
done.
pretty fast. We're done.
Leave.
Break it down.
Get out.
First off, I'd like to take this time to give shout-outs to all the people that helped us. First off, shout-out to Chris Clanton and Richard Walkowski, the 2 TOs that were kind of in charge of this tournament. They let us come in here. This was kind of a last-minute thing where me and AJ just decided, hey, let's just try to stream Portland.
Yeah.
And they were very accommodating to all of our needs.
Great TOs. Love them.
Right. They just pretty much asked us, hey, what do you need? Do you need anything from us? And we just worked with them. We just worked with them. Thank you to our VGC lead, David Nelson, who is actually going to be running a regional up in Seattle over Memorial Day weekend, so don't forget to check that regional out. He was very helpful in allowing us to be able to stream as much of top 8 as possible. I know a lot of leads, they'd probably just want to get the tournament done as fast as possible. He also provided us a projector, which kind of gave the audience something to watch.
Yeah.
And it was pretty hype. You
like,
you saw a lot of
stream, but like if the audience can't watch, it's kind of weird.
Right. I mean, you heard a lot of the audience reactions to some of the hype plays, right? So thank you to David for providing that projector. Shout out to Zach Drakamp for yesterday coming down from Seattle to commentate day 1 of Swiss with me. Unfortunately, he cannot join us today due to pretty much he was busy today. Life. And, he did a great job yesterday holding down the stream with me. I had a lot of fun working with him, and I hope to work with him in the future.
Yeah.
I'd like to also take time to thank AJ for coming out on his own accord to help broadcast the stream. He's a very solid producer, doesn't really get anything out of streaming this except his own personal enjoyment, and I guess he gets to hang out with
some really cool people.
With us, I guess. Kimo, I actually like to thank you as well for
you're welcome.
Not doing well yesterday and pretty much not being able to top cut and coming down and commentating with me instead.
I think that's about how I would expect a thank you from you to
go. Any shout-outs for you?
Well, I mean, first shout-out to not just Aaron, but all of Top Cut. Those are really good games. And you all played very well. That was an insane top 8 cut, world quality. I really want to stress the thanks to AJ and producers like AJ that really never get enough credit in what they do. They are really what help a community grow, and a lot of people just ignore their presence and help.
Yeah.
Shout outs to the TOs and stuff. I was like, I don't
Oh,
really,
all the staff that
Yeah,
actually
all
worked
of
this
them.
weekend, actually. You know, without them, these tournaments wouldn't run.
yeah, it's quite a community-based effort, and actually getting things going is super impressive.
Yeah. Another very special shout-out actually goes to Adam Doricott. You all know him as Dawes. Follow him on Twitter. He's Dawsalon. You know, he provided us the overlays. He made our stream look very nice. He provided us overlays,
Yeah,
technology.
the overlays.
And also, he actually was the reason why I decided to go to Portland.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He actually kind of motivated me to go broadcast as many regionals as I possibly could because, you know, he's doing a great job on
He's doing
covering
an excellent job.
a lot of regionals. I mean, he's flown out to Anaheim. He's flown out to
Dallas.
He flew out to Athens. He streamed Florida. He's constantly streaming and looking to improve the grassroots stream community. So huge shout out to Dawes. You know, he kind of, I guess, inspired me.
That's deep, man.
Yeah, very deep. So again, huge shout out to him. Thank you so much for providing us with what you did to help bring the pleasurable experience to the viewers at home.
Yeah.
Thank you to the viewers back at home for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed what we were able to broadcast. You know, without you guys, we wouldn't do this, really, right?
No, there'd be no point.
Yeah.
It's for you, the people.
And you have any other shout outs?
Shout outs to my mom and dad who might be watching this.
Possibly.
Shout outs to my girlfriend Jackie. You're pretty cool. And shout outs to Dewey, man. Thanks for letting me come and commentate with you.
Thanks, man.
You're like a super solid commentator who you also don't get enough credit, just like AJ. You're a big part of like how, especially the West Coast, but Pokemon in general grows as a game, which is a recent Twitter thing, you know.
Yeah. Well.
But yeah, like, and thank all of you for coming in and listening to us jibber jabber about Pokemon games.
Yeah,
I really love
and
these
with that,
guys.
I guess the only thing left to do is just take off. But before we go, a special announcement for everybody. We will actually be back in 2 weeks. April 8th
I don't know if I can
and
go.
April 9th. Well, I'll be back.
Yeah, you'll be
in
back.
April 8th, April 9th. We will be broadcasting Salt Lake City. That regional championship will be streamed thanks to the works of AJ and I guess myself. So, yeah, if you guys missed out on this weekend or if you guys want more Pokemon action, just tune in 2 weeks from now. Twitch.tv/NuggetBridge. Tell your friends. Tweet it out, retweet it, tell your family, tell anybody who wants to watch it. You know, it's going to be a great regional, and we hope to bring you guys a good show over there. So, again, thank you all. Have a great day, and, you know, take in the sights wherever you are. Enjoy life.